Hey, how y'all doing? This is Steve Dash. I was the guy who was Jason in Friday the 13th, Part 2, with the bag over the head. Not like the regular guys. And you're listening to the Tim O and Harley Show.
Welcome to the Tim O and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Tim O and Harley Show. I am Tim O. Over there is my partner in mind crime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben, heavy petting Harley.
Hey, heavy petting. Wow. I have not heard that name in a long time.
Oh, I love the random pulling things out of a hat. I just love it. Always have. Always loved it.
Heavy petting.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ben Harley, this is the first time that we are speaking to each other in the grand year of 2018.
Yes. Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Jeez. That was 1988, just yesterday.
It seems like it, yeah. How was your new year? Did you do anything?
No, not a damn thing.
There you go. There you go, kid.
It was perfect.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, it was nice, though. Actually, I have a couple of days off. I enjoyed how Christmas and New Year's landed on Mondays this year, so that was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of extra long weekends.
Yeah, and two just 4-day weeks. Nice. I love it.
Yeah. Nice. So. It did slow down our house though. These holidays, people tend to take off work besides yourself and besides other people. I did not know that people work on my house had in their contract that they had days off. What the hell? What the hell?
Yeah. You better read that contract then.
Whew, telling you. They got the toilets in though. That's a good thing.
That is good.
Yeah. Got most of the plumbing done and toilets and sinks and stuff like that. And Ben Harley, I don't know how much more they have to do. I think they're just teasing us at this point. They're saying, there you go. Yeah. So getting that worked in. We just every New Year, it's sort of become a tradition that we didn't try to have, but we spend it together. Me and Angio and Chance. Now Corey, he's a butthead. He don't want to hang out with family. He's too cool for that. So he goes up in his room. Yeah, he hangs out in his room. But he wants to. We've asked him, "You want to come hang out with us?" He's like, "You kidding me, you nerds?"
No.
Yeah. So he doesn't want to do that. But Chance on New Year's Eve, he got to go see Star Wars with Dano and Terry.
Oh, Dano too. Oh, okay, that's nice.
They liked it. I know you went and saw it too, didn't you?
Yes, sir, I did. Yes.
Well, we're going to talk about it in a little bit, right? We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So, So he got to do that and then came home and then we watched the Rudolph Shiny New Year.
Oh, nice.
With the Baby New Year. Yeah.
Baby New Year. Baby Big Ears.
That's right.
Oh,
1976.
See, I went there.
Yeah. With my hero, Paul Freese, and your hero, Frank Gorshin.
Frank Gorshin, is what's the terrible Ivan the terrible? No, was
Eon?
Eon the terrible.
It's
right?
Eon, and then he played Sir 10-3.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah,
that. Then everyone's hero, Red Skelton,
is
I love
the
Red Skelton. Narrator of that. Yeah, so that was kind of fun. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's a great one. That one's awesome. Yeah, that's actually kind of a longer one, isn't it? Too that one's.
No, it's about the same as Rudolph. It's like 45 minutes or something like that. What's interesting is like the Rudolph and all these shows when they play them on I guess they're like demoted down to ABC Family or something now on some deep cable channel.
Really?
Yeah, and what's funny is that when they were, this is kind of telling, when they were released, they were about 50 minutes long. Pretty close to 50 minutes long. That's all the time they needed for commercials. Well, the reason they edit these shows down so far is they have to have a ton more commercials in them. So when you see these shows now, they're edited. It's not the way you saw them, back in the day or anything like that. So, which kind of bummer. But Ben Harley, I watched it on Amazon Prime.
Did you?
In high definition.
Highfalutin
definition, yeah.
Yeah, snooty.
Yeah, so that was fun. So we watched that. And then we watched The Three Stooges. We actually watched the Shemp one. Let's see, we watched the Shemp one where he was the boxer, and then we watched the Shemp one where what was the other one? Oh, where they were cowboys and they had to go out west, and because he had some health problems. Shemp did, and he had a bad vein in his leg, so they went out to the Old West and they were talking about the vein they had. So I really thought it was a gold vein. So they're all after him. So that was fun. I don't think Chance had seen the Shemp ones yet, and it didn't bother him. Usually, kids when they see Three Stooges without Curly the first time, it bothers them.
It's a little jarring, kind of. Yeah.
But he knew it coming in. I was like, we're gonna watch a couple of Shemp ones. I like Shemp, and so he was like, all right. So we watched that, and it was an all right New Year. Not too bad.
That sounds like a fun New Year, Timo.
Yeah.
That's I do love Rudolph's Shiny New Year. I do.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre one at times too, which is good though.
That's very bizarre. It's very bizarre. They're going to different. Yeah. Okay. But so it's been a pretty interesting holiday season, it's over, and now the only thing left in front of us, Ben Harley, is Timo's move to Dermal Ridge. That's one thing.
Yeah, that's coming up here soon.
Mm-hmm. And then January 27th, 28th, we have Vette City Con.
Yes.
Bowling Green, Kentucky. And for our listeners today, Mr. Ben Harley, we have a surprise.
Yeah, we do. A big surprise.
That's right. We have a surprise for everybody. So we talked to Michael from the Vette City Con.
Yes.
And I thought that we would, since we're such supporters of the Vette City Con, we like the atmosphere of it and the size and everything. I thought we would have him on to talk a little bit about Vette City Con. And got a surprise guest that popped in, Mr. Ben Harley, Mr. Deep Roy.
Deep Roy.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that here in a little bit.
Yes.
Now, Ben Harley, I told you about 2 weeks ago or a week ago. It wasn't long at all. I mean, it was a week or 2 weeks ago. I watched the extremely long yet entertaining film Bridge on the River Kwai, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I got it on 4K for Christmas.
Oh my God. So you watched it again?
I popped it in to see what it looked like, and I ended up watching it the whole thing. I watched the whole thing again. Now, that's twice in 1 month. You're not supposed to watch Bridge on the River Kwai twice in one month, but it's even worse for me. So, because this time I watched it in 4K. So technically, I think I just saw it 3 times.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So,
True.
right. But I got to admit to you, it's better this time.
Really?
Yeah.
Better than 4K?
Well, it's better. It was just better to watch. Yeah, 4K looked pretty good. I am not sold. I like the TV, the 4K TV. I am not sold on the HDR 4K discs. I think that the HDR thing, people are real excited about this. I think it blows the picture out. I think it makes it kind of cartoonish and like it blows the light out and stuff. I don't know. I just don't like it a whole lot. So I got to really set a lot of interesting settings on my TV to watch these. But I digress. Let's see here. Angio and I watched a movie that I had seen when I was a kid and basically spent the whole movie watching it, wondering exactly when it was I saw it, because that kind of thing bothers me. We watched Terror in the Wax Museum. I believe it was from like 1973 or something like that, with Broderick Crawford, Elsa Lancaster, and Ray Milland. Ray Milland in that one. So just another Wax movie, with the creepy, hulking hunchback assistant and wax figures and dead people in wax and things like that. So, but not too bad. Kind of fun.
Not too bad?
Yeah. On Amazon Prime, Ben Harley, been digging and swimming right through the Survivor Man Bigfoot episodes.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Oh, yeah. They're good.
I didn't know those were on there. I'm going to have to put them in my watch list.
You just haven't dug enough. You have not dug enough. You've got your little hoe out, but you don't got your big shovel. You got to get your big shovel.
I'm working. I got a few documentaries watched.
I got good. I did too. I watched a lot of metal documentaries and punk rock documentaries. I didn't write them down. I got too many, but we'll talk about yours.
Sure.
Let's see here. Going through here. Watched a movie, Ben Harley, that I heard lots of bad things about. Amityville: The Awakening.
Oh, with my girlfriend. She just doesn't know it yet.
Which girlfriend is that?
The redhead girl. What's her name?
Oh, the main girl in the movie. I don't know who she was. Yeah, she's pretty cute. I thought she was cute in there. I might have even started mentioning this last week, but I kind of started watching and I finished it. It's not that bad. I mean, it's like, and you know me and sequels and new movies and stuff, Harley, they don't go far with me. It's usually right away. I mean, as soon as I see the Lionsgate Presents, it's like, that kind of thing. It takes place in a universe. I think people got this backwards. A lot of people got upset saying, this isn't the Awakening. It's like got nothing to do with the other movies and stuff. No, it has something to do with the Real House. I have news for young people out there. There really was a High Hopes Amityville house in Amityville. So this movie is basically these people. Jennifer Jason Leigh is the mom, and she has I think it was like 2 daughters or 1 daughter who your girlfriend's one of them, and then a son who was in an accident. So he's basically a vegetable. And it's kind of a neat little story, but they move to the Amityville house and the boy starts getting better. You don't get better usually when you're in a vegetative state, and he starts getting better. And
you know what? I think that guy actually plays the kid in the Joker in the Gotham series.
Really? I can see that. Okay. I can see that. Yeah. Well, so
it's Bella Thorne. Bella Thorne, that's the girl.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so he starts getting better, and meanwhile, what's interesting is that I guess Bella Thorne, is your girlfriend. Your girlfriend she's got other friends at high school, so you're going to have to fight them.
No.
But they basically tell her what house she's living in. She doesn't know.
Oh, okay.
And they bring the movies over for her to watch. So this is in almost like our world, not the world of the films. So basically, like, he's like, you don't know about your house? Haven't you seen the Amityville Horror? And so he brings the DVDs over and they start watching. I thought that was okay. I'm like, I don't know. And then I watch it. You know what? It's interesting to me because a lot of people bitched about it, and they also claim to love 80s horror films. This is the closest to an 80s horror film that I've seen in a while. Why? Because it's simple.
Okay.
It's easy to follow. The camera's held still for the most part.
There you go.
It's not trying to look like an 80s film.
Okay.
And I appreciate that. Sometimes they try so hard. We've talked about that. They beat you over the head with it. Like Stranger Things is like a good show that doesn't try to beat you over the head too much. With that, which we have been watching a little bit. It's okay. It's a TV show.
Right.
But it's okay. All right. But I thought this, I'm not going to tell people, you've got to see Amityville The Awakening. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that. I just mean it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was okay. I thought it was better than a lot of these other Annabelle type ghost movies that people love, but I'm not really on the same page with humanity for the most part. Good thing they're following me on a podcast. All right, moving forward here. Okay. So moving forward, I watched
take a look at it and we'll see.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Watched a movie called Amsterdammed. Okay. I think we talked about a few weeks back. Angie and I watched The Lift, about the elevator, the haunted elevator movie or whatever from Amsterdam, from Holland. And this movie is by the same director. And it's about a guy that's using the canals in Amsterdam, which are like kind of streets there sometimes. I mean, they kind of go through the city. And he's using those to basically scuba through and kill people. So you can imagine a guy in full scuba gear coming out of the water at night in Amsterdam and stabbing you. It's pretty scary shit. So Dick Moss, the guy that directed that, did this. Okay. Sort of a pseudo giallo slasher / crime drama. It's kind of a mishmash a little bit. Right. Doesn't feel super horror, but then it's got more horror than a normal crime drama. So it's okay. It was all right. And it's kind of a refresher. I haven't seen it for a few years. Along with The Lift. Those two both came on Blu-ray back to back. So I kind of picked up both of them to look at them again. Not too bad. It's okay. It's all right. Angie and I pulled out from 1959. You don't know why we pulled this out? We watched a certain movie. And then I said, I got to watch this to wash my brain of this. We pulled out the 1959 version, the Hammer version of The Mummy.
Oh, okay.
You can imagine what we watched before that. But I was like, I gotta watch this out of my head. Jesus Christ. Best mummy movie made, I think, is the.
You think so?
Is the Hammer one. So we had fun watching that. Let's see here. Also, Ben Harley pulled out on that New Year's Eve even. Shockwaves. Watch Shockwaves.
That's right. Shockwaves, huh?
Yeah. Enjoyed,
buddy.
Enjoyed.
Peter Cushing, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a Peter Cushing freak out, but that's just called a week for me.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was thinking about this recently because, you and I talk about, sometimes maybe it didn't play in this area or I missed it, and a friend of mine who's actually originally my brother's friend. Well, they're still friends, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a falling out or not.
Gotcha.
No, just joking. But yeah, he came by the other day, and we I have Shockwaves back in the shop. The little poster that you gave me, and he's like, "Oh wow, Shockwaves! I remember watching that over at your house when we were, So it must have been because they're older, about 6 years older than me, so." Right. And so at some point they watched Shockwaves at my house. So, it's just, there it is, so, and he remembered it. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny to actually, talk to him because I had never talked to him about this ever, and the other day I've known this guy all my life almost.
Right, right.
But so that just point, the point that we've been making sometimes they either didn't play here or I just missed it, growing up. So,
well, I think back then, horror movies were kind of like punk rock.
Yeah,
they weren't on TV all the time. There wasn't TV shows that were horror shows at all. None. It was considered horror was like heavy metal. It was or punk rock. It was considered. It was destroying the youth of America.
Sure,
and
we
it did.
It did trade a lot of tapes too. It did. Yeah, it did. But we did that. We had especially when VHS came out, but that really just took off especially for horror, I think.
Right.
So I remember you couldn't get Chainsaw Massacre unless you were 18 years old, stuff like that. Right. The guy'd still sell it too.
Oh yeah, right. Well,
Faces of Death.
Oh yeah. I mean, those were all, and it was funny too because it was like you could hardly ever get them out of their greasy mitts at the store, but yet they all carried these movies for some reason, right?
Yeah.
Because they rented big time, so, but so that I'm not surprised at all. A lot of people saw these movies back in those days. I think that we were at a perfect age to do this. See, for me, when I was little, from 5 years old on, I was begging and would get most of the time because I wouldn't let up. I'd get Fangoria magazines. And Fangoria magazines, I would just read it from cover to cover. And I would look at the posters for like Blood-Sucking Freaks and all these other movies. And I would get completely blown away. Like, I got to see this movie. As I got older and older, I think I've seen almost all of them now. Like almost everything that I saw in there, I was like, I got to see this. So to me, that's what was cool with the VHS days. I was finally getting to see movies that I had heard of or read about. But there was no way I was a 10-year-old in Decatur, Illinois or Belleville, Illinois is ever going to catch Blood-Sucking Freaks or ever going to catch, Shockwave, except if it was on TV. Shockwaves did play on TV a lot.
Yeah, it did, I guess.
Yeah, it was on
I guess.
Oh, yeah, it was on our like regular channel TVs and stuff like that around here. So, what do you got, Ben Harley? What have you watched this week?
Oh, holy crap, Tim! A lot of stuff. I've been searching the deep Amazon as well.
Deep,
which is nice.
Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've actually had a little bit more time on my hands. So, a couple of documentaries. I'll just start out with a couple of the documentaries that I've got to watch recently. One being House of the Rising Punk. Have you seen that one, Tim?
I've heard of it. I'm not sure if I watched that one yet or not. How was it?
It's not too bad. Mm-hmm. It's kind of about the New York scene. The early New York scene up through kind of to where the kind of the British, stuff started, so not bad. And it's all the, all your usual suspects in it and stuff too. And then they talk to them, like a lot of the interviews from at that time period and different things till now. I think it's not that old. I don't think. I take that back. Maybe 10 years old.
Okay.
So, but 10 years for me is like a week. I don't know.
I hear you on that one. Yeah, it's a brand new movie.
Yeah. So, good stuff. It was fun. I also watched another one called Get Thrashed.
Okay.
Which was a history of thrash metal. Not too bad either. I went through and talked about just the early start from Metallica and a lot of the earlier Exodus and stuff like that, bands from the Bay Area, things like and then talked about the New York stuff. Pretty cool. Had a lot of the same thing, usual suspects in there talking,
Right.
Guys from Slayer, things like that. But it was good. I remember that time period. It's like that was rough for me a little bit because I loved heavy metal, I loved punk rock, and I loved like Motorhead and stuff. I liked biker rock, type stuff a little bit. You know what I mean? Which I considered it kind of at the time. You know what I mean? And I liked that stuff, and that was heavy and fast. But there's a lot of people that didn't. You know what I mean? They didn't understand that. Oh, that stuff sucks, or like because. They talk about in this documentary how grunge and I remember the grunge. I didn't like that either. When that came in, it destroyed like metal and it did, you know what I mean? It talks about that in this, but then in a way, thrash kind of destroyed a lot of stuff too when it came in because of their attitude. But it does talk about a lot in this documentary too with thrash and then the hardcore scene, how they didn't mesh either, and stuff, and then what kind of grew out of that, and then now everybody gets along. I don't know.
I remember all that. I remember all that very specifically, especially a guy who would go see, I don't know. I think I went and saw Kiss and I went and saw Jane's Addiction and then I went and saw something else like Slayer or something. And I mean, really, you had to watch what T-shirt you wore to what show. I know I wore a Cure shirt to a hardcore show. And to this day, I think people still are kind of scared of me because they thought I was picking on everybody, just like I was like a lion in wait, I was like some badass. I was going to prove my salt. I just wore a Cure. It was a Boys Don't Cry Cure shirt. I wore it to a punk show. It was a shirt to me. I didn't even think about it. I was there for the music. Interesting. Yeah. But it's kind of gangs. They were kind of like gangs a little bit, and there you get beat up. Yeah, I didn't like a lot of the stuff, with the thrash kids, and those were guys that were my age too at the time, but they talk, like I said, about the New York scene too with Anthrax and all that stuff and what all that created. And actually it just goes through all the years to where it's funny. I watched another documentary about the stuff like heavy metal in Finland. It kind of followed, and it followed this band, and the guys went to all these metal shows and stuff. And it's funny how they were saying, excuse me, how music and things always end up in Finland last. And the guy explained how it comes from America and then it goes through Europe a lot of times, then it comes down and like Finland, the metal's just huge there, it's like, well, it is in that, in Germany and all that too. There's Europe is huge for metal. That stuff.
For metal. But that was a kind of little fun documentary. It's called like Life with Metal. But watching both of the documentaries was fun. Going back and watching the thrash thing was kind of cool. At the time, I liked Overkill when they came out because Bobby the Blitz, the guy could sing. You know what I mean? And I liked him. And, he's in this documentary, that Get Thrashed one, but they don't talk about Overkill that much. They don't do, like they would talk about certain bands. They would take a segment and talk about this band, that band,
There's an Overkill documentary that's on... It's on Amazon Prime. Rat Skates, their old drummer, produced it, and he produced some of those other ones that you might be watching.
Actually, he did that Get Thrashed one. That was him, and they talked to him, and I liked him, but he was the same way. They talk about the road and all that. Where it's just like a lot of those guys just didn't want to do it,
right?
And couldn't do it or didn't want to do it.
I like watching them too because I see clubs I played in and stuff.
Yeah.
Hell, we played with Overkill in Pennsylvania, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So we were out on the East Coast while they were trying to do their weekend jaunts or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great, though, by the way.
The Blitz had a funny quote in it. He said, at one point I thought, I'm a 36-year-old guy who lives in parking lots.
Right.
He's like,
Yep.
He's like, so, and it was kind of funny, but I didn't know that guy had like a stroke on stage. I had no idea that,
I doubt the crowd did either.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty bad.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. But yeah, that was some good stuff, Timo. Let me just go through a couple more things real fast. I watched a couple other things there on Amazon. I'll just go through real fast. One was called like the 50 worst movies ever. And that was hilarious. Yeah. That was funny. I enjoyed it actually because I knew probably 40 of them. Right. I hadn't seen all of them, but probably 35 of them, whatever, But some of them I did agree wholeheartedly with, like Smokey and the Bandit 3. There was a lot of horror ones in there too. A lot that there's a few that we've reviewed. Oh yeah. But gosh, Blood Sucking Freaks actually.
I'm sure. Joel M. Reed. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yes, that was pretty interesting, Timo. I've really enjoyed my deep Amazon trips here lately. There's a couple other things that I will get to that I've got to watch on there. We'll save that for another time. I do want to talk about one of the funniest, probably riff tracks that I've seen so far, and it's about a little movie called Last Shark or Great White, whichever, however you want to say it. Wow, man! I tell you what, yeah, that's a good one. Well, that movie, it's alone. You could just sit there and laugh at that movie on your own. Yeah. But they really do a good job on this one. It had me rolling. And I think I kind of needed it at that time. Right. Maybe it was my mood, but man, I just enjoyed, if anybody gets a chance and I think you've seen that, Tim.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. I've seen all of them on there. Yeah. I think the only one I haven't seen is the Miami Connection, which is a studio one. That's good. No, I've seen the live one. I saw the live one, but they have one on there that's just the regular riff tracks, and I've not seen that one yet because we just watched the live one. I'm trying to pad it out. I'm trying to wait a little bit. We did watch Land of the Dinosaurs, or Planet of the Dinosaurs riff tracks last night, actually. Yeah, so that was pretty good. Actually, they had one of your, I think you texted me a joke that they actually had in this Planet of the Dinosaurs, like Frankenberry cackle juice or
a Sharkleberry fin.
Yeah, they had the same exact joke in Planet of the Dinosaurs because I heard him say it. I was like, I didn't think you were watching this one, and I was watching on DVD. That was weird. So they recycled a riff.
There's a part where Vic Morrow's character, Captain Ron, he finds the surfboard, or the wind surfboard bitten in half or whatever, and he like tastes the surfboard bite, And they think, oh, it tastes like Kool-Aid. Sharkleberry Finn strikes again. And I mean, I like Sharkleberry Finn a lot, so I guess I thought it was funnier than right. But it just hit me. And there's another one too. They're like, gee, I hope this is the last shark because they're kind of dicks. You got that right, Right. But yeah, that's a good one. They knocked it out of the park with that one. So, there's a couple other things I said from Amazon to talk about, but yes, I did see something though, Timo. I have to speak on. Yes, I did get to see Star Wars the other day. Finally. Okay. Yeah. Man, I don't know. I'm a little disappointed, only for the fact that I enjoyed the first one. This one, it's not bad. Okay, it's not bad. Let's get that off. It's not a bad film. As far as action adventure films go, right? It's pretty good. You're getting plenty of action, plenty of adventure. But I just think it's like 2.5 hours long, and it's probably a half hour too long. It just doesn't really feel like, as much as I thought the last one. It's a little bit too much like The New Hope, but I didn't feel that way. I just enjoyed the fact that it felt like Star Wars again. Right. You know what I mean? It just did. It looked like Star Wars. It felt like it, it felt like the characters and just like the places they were in. I don't know. It just did. More than the ones they did, the prequels, I guess. So, going into this one, I was really excited, but I just feel like it doesn't really have that good storytelling that Star Wars has. And it just kind of makes it almost a little sterile to me, kind of like the prequels. Now, they gave this one in the Toledo Blade, which I really don't care what the Toledo Blade, which is our home newspaper here. I really don't care what they say because they got their head up their ass most of the time. But, you know, over the years, from the time I was a kid, you know, a lot of times you couldn't find movie reviews and stuff except for, you know, so they reviewed this one though. They gave this one like a five stars. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. 5 stars? Even then I was like, that's a little suspect to me. I'm just, you know, and I'm just going to put it out there. This is not Empire Strikes Back, which this is like a second, you know, which to me, this is the second act. You know what I mean? And I just don't think it is. I don't even think it's Return of the Jedi for that matter. And it has some good stuff in it, but it's got a lot of comedy almost in it. And I don't really need the comedy that much. I like it, the wink and the nod, you know, and Han Solo brought that with his character. I don't know. I don't need it. And I'm just really like confused about certain things that went on in there too. Like
I heard there was a lot of plot holes. I heard there was a lot of plot holes that were bothering people that
I just don't understand quite yet. I don't know. Mark Hamill's performance is good and bad. It's like I don't think it was his fault. I think it was what he was given. Maybe I don't know. It sucked for me because I'm sitting there throughout this movie thinking to myself, I don't like this movie. You know, I hope it gets better. Halfway through, I don't know. I'm not really gravitating towards this film. You know what I mean? And I never really did, I guess. There are certain things that are fantastic. There's one scene, Timo, and you could have broke it down in one frame for me, and that was it. For as far as like any type of emotion that was brought out of me, you know what I mean? Or it could have been in one cell, one frame, and that would have been, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to feel that we are losing good storytelling. Yeah. Maybe. That we are there's so much going on as far as visually and there's actually, I've seen this now twice because I saw it before Justice League. There's a new movie that Spielberg's coming out with. It's called like Go Player One or Player One or something. And it's kind of about like virtual reality where it's just like 20 years here in the future where everybody's more virtual reality. You don't even live in your real life anymore. Right. And there's just so much action and so much going on in this, you know, just in the trailer. I don't know I could do the whole movie. You know what I mean? I'm like, I just don't. And I feel like we're just losing that. And that's what I feel like in this movie. They kept, how many things can you destroy? How many things that you do destroy, you have to destroy or do something else. And then you have to go to and do another thing and destroy another something. And you know, no, stop. Just stop.
Well, I like to use the old phonograph record, which is new now. Now people are listening to records again. So what am I talking about? I've actually come full circle on that. But you know, if you take a 45 record, okay, a 7-inch, you put it on your turntable. You hit it you play it at 33 RPMs. Okay, fine. You click it up to 45. Bop, 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 bop. You hear it normal. Okay. Yeah. But then you hit it up to 78. It's like, that's all you need to know.
Jazz.
Right. So like some of the older movies and some of the stuff, it's like this. But if they're telling you something interesting, you might want to get to it, but you're still going to listen to what it's saying. You got it at normal speed, then you're doing fine. But at some point you can go too fast. Yeah. You can go too slow also, you know, but you can go too fast. I personally think I think what didn't bother me about the Amityville movie. Why I said it, I don't know why people, it's more like an 80s. The 80s thing was that they just didn't put a lot of like static in the movie. There isn't a whole lot of extracurricular things. There, like you said, there isn't like a ton of visuals. There isn't. Yeah. You feel like it's just a simple little scary story being told to you. Nothing's groundbreaking, and you appreciate it in a way. And I think that what was good about the last Star Wars movie was that, like you said, it was like when you saw it, you came back and said, it was kind of a simpler movie.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more like the old Star Wars movies where people don't realize how simple they really were. Yes, there were a lot of characters. That was to sell toys. They weren't intricate parts of the story. They were just different monsters to sell toys, right?
I bought them.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, when you in Jedi, in Return of the Jedi, you had like the big pig monster guys running around. Well, they didn't play an intricate part in the plot. They were just there to get killed by bigger monsters. And then you bought them. And I had one. Of those guys, and stuff. And like all the people, like Cantina monsters. And the canteen, they had a bunch of those in those movies, but the central characters,
Hammerhead never said anything.
Right? Exactly. Yes, but there was a cool toy, right? So you made your own adventures with Hammerhead. So the thing is that the central characters were the central characters, and they were dealing with the same issues. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was what I didn't like about the Lucas prequels. There was like 50 million fucking characters, and it was like all political intrigue and bullshit. It's like, you know what? No. I'm not going with this. I can't handle it. It's too much. And then when it got to the action, it was just basically a digital camera being swung around in CG.
Yep. Yeah.
With stuff, So I think what happens sometimes, and I did not see this movie, but I'm kind of going off what you're saying sounds to me like it was stop, go. Stop, go.
Yeah,
stop, go. Like just
go fast.
Insanity down to slow. Insanity down to slow. And then giving you a bunch of plot pieces and things left for you to be pieced together. Is that what it was kind of like? Because that's what I feel like a lot of movies are.
Well, like in most Star Wars too, it's like they just you in Star Wars, it's to blow up the Death Star. In Empire, it was run away from the Empire. In Jedi, it's blow up another Death Star. This one, it's like blow up this, then go on to blow up some. Yeah, do this other thing.
Right.
It's like the same movie over. It's like the same movie 3 times, but with different scenes. You know what I mean? It was after a while. It's like, okay, I've had enough. I've had enough of seeing you try to blow up things, man. I like explosions as much as the next guy, but here we go, Tim. This will make a good point. It got to the point where I started saying, you know what? There wouldn't be explosions in space because there's no oxygen in space.
Uh-oh.
What the hell is wrong? That my mind is thinking that because I've seen too much.
Yeah, you've been talking to me too long too, because that does sound like something I would be like, oh God.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't think of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I know that stuff. I've thought of, over the years with Star Wars, but I would just got to the point where I was just like, my brain was shutting down.
Right.
I was like, I'm done. And I don't want to be like that because I tell you what, I do like these characters. There is some really good stuff that's going on in this one. I just think it was on 11 most times, and it just needed to stop. Because there at some point you're like, there's not much going on, and then all of a sudden, it's just going too fast, and then it's just. I don't know. I was disappointed, but I tell you what, I'm not gonna give any spoilers away. But the ending, it was cool. I dig it. I totally dig it, but my thing is, Tim, I'll never get that response that I got from Empire Strikes Back at the ending of Empire Strikes Back as a kid. I don't think there was ever any movie that'll ever do that to me ever again, I guess. And it was just that my age and the movie and what was going on. But at the end of Empire Strikes Back, I was jaw dropped. Like, oh my God. My whole world as a kid even was like, oh my God, what just happened? Because you lived for those movies and those stories and what was going to happen next. This one I was like, okay, all right.
That was funny. I didn't believe when I saw that movie at the theater, I did not believe Vader. So it didn't affect me at all. It didn't affect me because I thought he was just lying. And so I watched the whole, and then I went into Jedi through the whole movie waiting for Vader to basically say he was lying. He wasn't lying. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I watched the whole damn movie. He wasn't lying. Oh, my God. It's
my whole thing, too, is with Han Solo. I was like crushed. I was like, Han Solo's been captured and he's in carbonite. And is he going to live? And I was just.
What the hell is carbonite?
What is carbonite? Exactly, But which is okay, too, that. But I just think this one left me a little. And I like the Kylo Ren character. I do. I think his name's Ben, for crying out loud. There's a lot of Bens, and there's a lot of Bens I noticed in Star Wars now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But my thing is, I'll give it 2.5 out of 3 out of 4. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I think it could have. I was hoping for a 4. You know what I mean? And I just didn't get it. So whatever.
So it wasn't as good as Rogue One, and it wasn't good as The Force Awakens.
I don't think so. I think it had better intentions, I think, but it just didn't deliver. You know what I mean? It's just too grandiose. I think Rogue One was good. It's a good little story. There was a lot of action, at certain parts, but they kept it kind of slick and not so much where you're just like, okay, and over and over and over and over and over. I don't know. It just, I like that Rogue One. I think that was a good movie. I really do. I mean, it was a fine film. This one just is a little much. It's just a little much.
There's a fine line, I think, too, between making a movie today that is trying too hard to be a movie from 1980.
Yeah.
And none of the movies came out, I don't think, maybe Empire came out in 80, but I'm saying it was like 77, like 81 and 83 or something like that, or 84. I think they were in succession. But the thing is, like, that era, it's almost folly to try. If you want to make a movie like that, I hate to keep going back to this movie. I do want to, because I don't want to overstate it. I don't.
Yeah.
But like the Amityville thing I said, it just felt like it because it was simple and didn't go overboard. You could have made that movie in 1980 and it would have been just as effective because you didn't need all the special effects and stuff. That's what I mean. And it's like I still think that a lot of these movies, they oversensitize you. It's like overkill. Yeah. It's over too much because they can.
Right.
And Star Wars wasn't like
so
that.
Much. No, they just could have done so much more with Mark Hamill. And I understand his character now, which I'm glad I've seen it because now that I've seen it, I can actually, it can be out of my mind a little bit, because like, I don't like not knowing the story. I want to know the story. I want to, and stuff. And I just think there's a little more they could have done with him. But he was basically just trying to get away.
Right.
Hide as far away from just, like Ben Kenobi kind of did.
Right. Well, do you feel like it's suffering from too much there because they can?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because that's what I mean. You know what I mean? It's like because it's in a computer, not in someone's hands, a modeling thing or something like that, where it takes the time. And I mean, do you think that it's taken precedent over it? Because that's
a little bit. There is some good acting in it and stuff, but there's just nothing that it's just like nothing that made you like. I said one scene for me, one thing even really got any type of emotion out of me. There's a R2-D2 scene that's kind of cool too. You know what I mean, with Luke Skywalker. But I didn't feel anything really much. I just was kind of like I'm waiting for something to make me go. Even on the inside, go yes. No, it just didn't really have any. Just was kind of a good action movie, I guess, but nothing really that. What was always cool about Star Wars to me was the storytelling, you know what I mean? And the story itself, which is old, these stories are old, Greek mythology type stuff, know? But what was not good about the prequels is they were sterile, but not just that. You already knew the story pretty much for the most part. You knew he became Darth Vader. And then once you found out, you're like, oh, good, really? And it kind of took away from it. This one just didn't really give me anything to like hold on to, like Well, I think I can't wait for the next one. Right. I don't really care. Now I'm like, whatever.
I think what people aren't perceiving is that the original one was kind of a cross between a serial and a Western, and I think they've gotten away from the Western feel, gotten more into a political. And I don't. They're not talking about Trump. I don't mean that.
No,
I just mean. It's gotten into governors and emperors and all this other stuff. Yeah. And so it's kind of gotten convoluted because politics is complicated enough to try to educate you in a 2-hour movie about the entire political landscape of a universe and try to follow that and figure it out stuff, I think is a bit ambitious. And then you're trying to throw all this other stuff. So it's overstimulation. I honestly believe that. And I believe that they forgot that it was a Western. And I think that that's what's happened to them. Personally, I think by the time even Jedi rolled around, I think that they were sort of, the Western thing was almost, I was more of getting a little bit more, you know what, that got a little bit more of a character thing, which I thought was fine. Yeah. But then when you went back and started seeing these movies, they become more action, like Bond movies or something. You know, it's like, I don't know. They're imitating things. That's a good way of putting it. You know, Star Wars never imitated something else. And I feel like the movies that have come out since the 70s and 80s films are imitating something, are trying to compete with something that's already out there. And Star Wars never did compete with anything out there. They were basically, and in fairness, they were basically the only game in town. So it's just impossible to recreate that. It's impossible. You can't do it. I mean, basically, what's going to happen in film is that it's going to take a 180. And you're going to see more and more and more movies that are, and I don't like these movies that are coming out either. Like the movie, It Comes at Night was a slow, simple type thing, but it was trying to be too clever. It was trying to be something more than what it was, and which ruined it. It just ruined it. So I think people just need to be like, look, you don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Yeah. All right. There's only like so many stories that are told. Okay. Yeah. Just do it through your prism, and it will be different because it's not the same person doing it. You know, you always said, and you know this with music, have two guys play the exact same song on guitar, you will hear the difference. Sure. Even if they both know it perfect, it's going to be different. It's going to sound a little different. And that's really, people just, they want that, you know, they don't want to get, I don't know, lied to is one thing that bothers me in movies too. A lot of movies lie to you. Yeah. You know, and stuff. Well, they used to lie to you in the posters. The trailers lie. Yeah. One thing though, they did, which I really appreciated, is they give a little nod to the old Hardware Wars. Oh, really? If I'm not mistaken, they definitely gave a nod to Hardware Wars, which I found, I don't know how many people caught it, but I think I did, you know, and I thought that was awesome. It was really kind of cool. And, you know, but I guess, Timo, my final thought on it is it just, and I hate to be like this because I don't want to be an old fuddy-duddy, but it doesn't feel like, and I don't own Star Wars, but it doesn't feel like my Star Wars anymore. Gotcha. You know what I mean? Yep. I don't feel, that's how the prequels felt to me a little bit, but I just don't feel like, I don't know. Yeah, I hear you. I know exactly what you mean. I think everybody listening of our age and ilk, I think they do understand what you mean. Because that's, you're trying to explain something that is the explanation. Yeah. That is the explanation. So I get it. So well, let's do this, Ben Harley. Let's watch that. Sure. Let's watch that horror out of your mind there. That terrible thing. Let's get to a little interview here with Michael and Deep Roy, and they're going to be talking. We're trying to talk a little bit about Vette City Con. Okay, so here's the deal. I did not. This was in reality. This is real world. This was a little sprung on me, and we are very appreciative and very honored that Deep Roy came in. But due to that, it's basically a 3-way call. Okay. Yeah. I had a hell of a time. And it was basically, I was online and then there was a 3-way call with a cell phone from across the country. So it's a little hard to understand Roy. And then that makes Michael sound kind of shrill. I was trying to EQ so you can understand. So what I'm going to do is I'm apologizing for the sound. If something sounds a little garbled, it's the phone. It's nobody's fault. It's just what happens. But there's enough in there, I think, and enough fun and frivolity to get out of this. And I definitely appreciate Michael and Deep Roy for sitting down. And we're looking forward to seeing them in a couple weeks here. Yep. So without further ado, let's play our chat with Michael and Deep Roy talking about Vette City Con in Bowling Green, Kentucky, January 27th and 28th. Yes. 28th, yes. Alrighty. You can find Timo, Ben Harley, Angio, DVD Bob Slendorn. Yes. Yeah. So, handsome Bob. That's right. So let's get into this, Ben Harley. We'll come back out and we'll talk about our official films. Sound good? That sounds great, buddy. Cool. Here we go. All right, Timo. I'd like to welcome on the show the promoter of the Vette City Con, Michael. Michael, Vette City Con will be what, where, and when?
January 27th and the 28th at the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Oh, and before we talk about some of your guests, Michael, at the Vette City Con, who was that voice that popped up there?
I think that was Santa Claus.
Santa Claus?
Yeah, I paused, he talked, it was Deep Roy.
So this is Deep Roy, Santa Claus, Deep Roy.
Deep Roy.
Exactly.
All right. Well, welcome, Deep Roy. Thank you for being on the Timo and Harley show.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'm so excited to visit Bowling Green. Here I come. Vette City Con. Is it Vette City Con?
Vette City Con.
Vette City Con. You're bringing your balls, right? For bowling?
Yeah, but hey, listen, I'm bringing my balls to bowl on the bowling green. You know, I thought Vette City was like, I was going to go to Rome to go to Vatican. I didn't know. It was in freaking Bowling Green. I thought I was going to see the pool. You know? I didn't know I was going to, I didn't know I was going to come and be at Bowling Green.
Well, I tell you what, Michael,
This is the first time.
I want you and Deep Roy to tell us about some of the guests that you have at Vette City Con this year. And Deep Roy is the guest of honor again. I'm going to call you the guest of honor because that's the way I feel about it. So so you guys talk about what guests do you have this year, Michael, and you and Deep Roy tell the audience who they have to look forward to at Vette City Con this year.
Well, I think Deep Roy is a guest of honor because, if I'm not mistaken, I think he may have actually purchased the Corvette Museum.
Well, listen. Thank you for that fucking big order. What a fucking bitch. It's all good. Listen, I'm looking. I feel like when I come to Bowling Green and see Michael and all the fans that are going to come in, I'm excited to come to Bowling Green, which is on January 27th and 28th. And all right, guys, come and visit.
Timo is going to be bringing Ben Harley and Angio to the show.
Yeah, otherwise known as the Party.
We're excited about that.
All right, Ben Harley, there you go. Ask you where the fucking Davidson is.
But the guest this year we're looking at, we've got Deep Roy, of course, going to be back this year. Tony Moran from the original Halloween, Michael Myers. Steve Dash, Friday the 13th, Part 2, Jason. We've got Susan Olsen, Mike Lookinland, Bobby and Cindy Brady from the Brady Bunch. Dungeons and Dragons artist, fantasy illustrator Larry Elmore.
Wow.
Yeah, Hillbilly Jim, and then Texas Chainsaw Massacre Grandpa John Dugan.
Wow, that's a great lineup of guests. Wow, congratulations. I think, the fans should come, to that city town.
I think it's a smorgasbord. What do you think, Deep Roy?
What I think about what?
I think it's a smorgasbord.
There you go. It's whatever it is, it is. You know what I mean? I like it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, but it is great. It's a great guest list, and come on down. Come and support the Vette City Comic Con in Bowling Green.
Little something for the whole family.
Exactly. Can't fall in.
It is more of a family-orientated type of show, right, Michael?
It's got a little bit for everybody, yes. That's kind of what we're geared for. We want something to, if you bring your kids and they're 10 and under, they get them for free. So it's very family-orientated, but a little bit for everybody as far as fandom goes.
Right. And Roy and John Dugan are returning guests, and Ben Harley and Angio and I are coming back, and we had a ball last year. We had a really, really good time last year, and we're really looking forward to it. And you got Deep Roy and John Dugan coming back. So, Roy, you must have had a really good time last year, too.
Yes, I had a great time, and normally I don't do back-to-back Comic Cons, and the reason is because they said they're going to say, "Oh, the fuck, he's back again," and you sit like an idiot at the table and go, "Hey, come by, get my photos." And people go, "The fuck are you? Get the fuck out of here!" But then again, hey, it's always nice to, this time I'm bringing my poles with me. If they don't buy my autographs, I go fucking bowling green. I go and bowl.
That's it, man. And don't forget your ball this time.
Well, that's what I said. I'm gonna bring my balls with me. If they don't buy my photographs, at least I've got my balls with me, and I'll start bowling.
So what, Michael? What is different from last year? What's changed?
I think we're just going to change the hours up a little bit this year. We've got a few different vendors than what we saw last year. We got a lot of the returning vendors from last year, but this year we've got the one thing I had changed. I'm actually adding a artist alley this time to bring in some more of illustrators and artists in there at more of an affordable price for those guys too.
Right.
To try to encourage to get that out there.
Yes.
What are the prices this year for people coming?
$25 for weekend pass for Saturday and Sunday, and $15 per day passes, day of show.
Gotcha.
And if anybody's coming to Bowling Green, then we've got Michael over to Hamptons also working with us on a group rate for $79 a night to stay at the Hampton. Mm-hmm. Which they're clean rooms, they're nice staff. Steve Roy stayed there before. He can vouch for us.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's a great place to stay. In Bowling Green, it's clean. It's nice. Friendly.
Do they have a turn down service there?
They've turned down what? They haven't turned me down. What you turn down? Yeah, turn down what? Yeah, they don't have turn down. Well, I don't know if they don't turn that service. But they haven't turned me down yet. But that again, hey, it's all good.
Hey, it's still early in the game, right?
Well, that's what the lady said. It's too early in the game. I said it's always all good. She said it's too early. I said it's never too early in the game.
So this show then it's not a 3-day one. It's not a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's just a Saturday, Sunday, and then
Saturday?
Right? Are you going to have I know last year there wasn't any kind of an after hours party or anything. Are you doing one of those, or is it just whatever Timo and Harley bring to get everybody partied up that weekend again?
I think it's probably about what we're going to go with. I heard that there might be a party that Timo and Harley is involved with, maybe some grape ape or.
We always have that.
Deep Roy makes something called the Pink Monkey. I don't know what that is.
Well, I think if we get the Pink Monkey and Grape Ape together, I don't know how Sunday's going to fare. I'm not real sure about that, but that's okay. Who cares, right?
Well, what the hell is Pink Monkey? What's this monkey business? Where does monkey business come from? Pink Monkey.
What's monkey business?
Yeah.
We'll invent it for the show, and then you'll have it. I'll come up with something. I'll whip up something good.
Yeah, please come with something. Make sure it's good, too. Yeah.
So we look forward to having you here, Deep. Everybody's looking forward to having you back to Bowling Green, my friend.
I'm excited to come back again. I'm looking forward to it, and come on, guys, come and support your own Bowling Green Comic Con. This is once a year for the community. Come and support. Let's get this thing going for 30, 40 years more.
Sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. Roy, what have you been up to besides doing the conventions? Have you any film projects?
Well, they're talking about Star Trek 4, which is going to happen next year. Apart from that, I've been doing Lollapaloozas. They got Kid Palooza. Lollapaloozas are like music festivals.
Uh-huh.
And I do Kids Palooza, where there are lots of kids. I go on the stage and do some singing and some dancing, and then invite the kids to come and dance with me. And I did that in last October in Jesus Christ, Austin City Limits.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to South America in March, starting with Argentina, go to Chile, Brazil, and Colombia.
Wow.
So that's a 1 month tour. Then come back. Then I'm going to do the Paris Lollapalooza in July. And then I'm going to do the Chicago Lollapalooza in August. And in September, I'm doing the Berlin Lollapalooza. And then back to Austin City Limits in October next year. In between that, I'm sure Star Trek 4 will happen. And hey, that's what it is.
Wow.
So,
You are a busy man, Roy. Very busy man.
It's all good, man. It's always all good. Like I said, these comic cons are great to go to, which I did. I do the comic cons because of fans.
Sure.
I think that's great. Because without fans, there won't be any comic cons.
Right.
So there you go, and out you all there, come to Bowling Green. I keep saying that because you got a sport, Bowling Green, Vette City, Comic Con.
Absolutely. Everybody needs to come to Vette City Con to meet Deep Roy, John Dugan. Steve Dash is a friend of the show, too. Timo and Harley, Angio. And I know we got a lot more good vendors, right? I mean, we got a lot of good vendors this year, right?
Oh, yeah, we've got a ton of good vendors here. I think right now we're sitting at probably a total of about 40 vendors right now. We're getting pretty close to capacity of what we was last year.
Great. Excellent.
And new artists this year, we're looking at like J5 Illustrator's going to be there. Billy Tackett Illustrator's going to be there. I think Dick Starr had mentioned something about coming back. So, and then Kevin Goodwin, we've got, he's coming back. So we've got a lot of artist illustrators there as well.
Well, I tell you what, the return guests like Roy and John, the return, vendors says a lot about the show. And we told people after last year, if they didn't come, they definitely missed out, and they need to come this year for sure.
But thank you.
Yeah, please. Come on down, guys.
So, Roy, are you going to be back? Are you going to be back next year too?
He's talking about next year now.
I know. I'm already talking. I'm already excited.
Here in just a few weeks, Deep Roy's coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about forever. I'm basically booking your show for the next 20 years and saying, well, you got to have Roy, you have to have John, you have to have us there, and whatever else happens is fine.
Deep Roy, did you buy that house you were looking at in Bowling Green?
Did I buy the house I was looking at Bowling Green?
Yeah, the big one?
The big ones, yeah, I like big ones. I'm talking about the houses. But then, what the hell I want to yeah, so, yeah, I like the big house. Yeah, I like houses, big houses in suburbs of Bowling Green, I love it, but to buy a house in Bowling Green, there comes the winter and the snow and all that, I don't like cold weather, man. I don't like cold weather.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's cold here. I don't know about you guys are, but it is cold in St. Louis right now, so.
Well, luckily we have really good heater system there at the Corvette Museum and at the at the venues that we're going to be hanging out at. So
absolutely.
No, I know it's a great venue. It's a great comic con to be sitting at the historic that
Yeah.
It's so the Corvette Museum. It's a great historic place.
It is.
So come on down, guys. Come on down, guys. And enjoy the museum, enjoy the guests, and enjoy the illustrators, and have a good time. Food vendors are going to be there. Enjoy some food, have some fun, come down and support Vette City Con.
Absolutely.
Wow, picture off of Deep Roy.
Well, that's right. Well said. Well
Thank
said.
you very much, Michael, and my friend that did the podcast. What's your name?
Tim.
Damn it, I forgot your name.
Tim.
I've got a short memory.
Tim O. Everybody calls me Tim O.
Tim.
Tim
Tim. Oh,
Yes.
Oh, Tim.
Now his
Oh,
memory's
my
jogged.
God,
He
Tim.
remembers that hazy night, see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim. Tim. I know Tim.
Send love to Angie and Ben Harley for us.
All
the
right.
rest of the crew.
Will do. Will do.
There you go.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to
Happy
you.
New Year.
And Happy New Year to you, Deep Roy. And thanks, guys, for coming on.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, Tim and Happy New Year to Michael, his dad, Dick Hammer.
Yes,
Dick Hammer.
absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thanks. We're going to see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Yes.
Take
yes.
care.
Cheers.
All right, Mr. Ben Harley,
Yes, sir.
Michael, and Deep Roy talking about
Michael.
Vette City Con. So
Yeah.
we will. We're gonna be there soon. We don't do as many shows these days. So if you want to come and smell us, or if you want to come and feel our
Throw
muscles and
tomatoes at us.
handsomeness, or throw tomatoes, you're gonna have to come to Vette City Con, or it looks like Vette City Con and the Ohio Bigfoot Conference are the two that I know
Yes.
we're gonna be at. There might be a horror hound, because that's the horror show that we still may attend every now and then. So because we do have lots of friends there and everything. We do like the horror hound. It's grown so much, Ben Harley, and we've stayed humble. We've stayed humble. So let's get to our official films for this week, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see here. First up, we have the 1981 movie. The 1981 movie Dawn of the Mummy.
Dawn of the Mummy.
Now,
Yes, sir.
let me give you a little background on this.
Looks like 1971.
Yeah. Well, this movie, I basically thought was Italian. I was wrong. It's not
It's
Italian. No, it's not. It is American produced, but it was made by an Egyptian person.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of culture clash going on there. So that's probably what I was sensing in this, I guess.
Yeah.
But I admit I would have sworn to you this was Italian. So that might give you a little clue as to what you're about to experience here from Tim O, Mr. Ben Harley. The opening shot of this film, you could not have. I would have went to bat saying that was not shot in 81. I would have said that was shot in 87. It looked a little smoother, but it was confirmed to me by our good friend Jimmy the Lips, DVD
Jimmy
Bob.
Lips.
Yes, Bob Slendorn. He actually saw this in a theater while intoxicated in San Diego in 1981. So it was confirmed to me that this indeed is all the product of 1981. So even though it doesn't look like it. So, okay. So let me get the movie guy out and get you a synopsis here. Now it's going to be a little long. I'm going to try to get through it here. Believe me, I want to get through it. And so here's a synopsis storyline here for Dawn of the Mummy. Here we go. All right. Come on, movie guy. Here we go.
Yeah.
It all started with a seemingly harmless accident. A photographer using a newly discovered Egyptian burial vault as an exotic background for his fashion shoot causes such heat in the chamber that it frees a mummy after some 4,000 years.
It's not hot enough.
Fulfilling an old curse that prophesied that the dead pharaoh would come back to seek revenge for his violent death. Can anyone stop this horror from the past? Be there for all the thrills and chills with this entertaining and exciting horror movie that will have you sitting on the edge of your seat. Yeah, trying to run out.
Sorry, movie guy. I didn't mean to step on you there.
That's here.
I know it's not really hot in Egypt already.
Yeah, right. Recalling the great tradition of monster movies you know and love, Dawn of the Mummy is a non-stop film fun and downright scary. There's something to be said for truth in advertising, my friend. I'm not sure what that is, but okay, yeah. So 1981, we have this film here, Dawn of the Mummy.
Yes.
It does look Italian. It's not. But yeah, so like, God, so these dumb model photographers and everything go to this cursed tomb to do a photo shoot.
What do you mean?
They do a photo shoot in there, like. I mean,
they go to Egypt to do a photo shoot, and stumble on some tomb raiders, basically.
One who looks just like Fred from Scooby Doo. One guy with the ascot.
With a 10 o'clock shit.
Right. So, they basically wake up this mummy, and it wakes up other mummies everywhere. So... you go with this, Ben Harley. I've seen this before, so I'm more confused. I'm twice as confused, or 3 times as confused. I've seen this, I think, 3 times.
Well, what's kind of funny, is like, so they do go over to Egypt, and they're like, doing their photo shoot and stuff. And one of the tomb raiders, whatever, starts shooting at them while they're because modeling is a tough gig, Tim.
I mean, it sure is.
You're always under fire, and stuff. So. But what's kind of made me laugh is like they're shooting at them and stuff, and then one guy just says like, "No, don't shoot at them because then they'll come up here." And I'm like, "No, they're not going to come up there. They got to be scared to death." No, they come right up there. What are you guys doing? And it's basically just a hole in the ground. Like, I wouldn't have gone in there for nothing. First off, I wouldn't approach a guy I just shot at him.
Hey, Murray, let's go investigate where those gunshots came from. I think it came from that way.
But I tell you, these toothpick thin models, they're tough, man. So, yes, they go into the tomb as well. And the 3 main bad guys, I guess, the tomb raiders, they kind of try to play it off for a little while so that they can find, because they couldn't find any gold at first, right, when they go in there.
Yeah.
So they're just still kind of lurking around to find the gold. And then, these high-powered lights.
I didn't even know that's what it was. I didn't even know that.
To raise the temperature 5 degrees. At least 3 degrees in there or something.
Yeah.
So, those lights basically melt. It's melting the mummy. And I'm laughing too because there's smoke coming off the mummy, but they don't notice it. Right. They're only about 2 feet away from the mummy.
It boils, for like 10
naughty
minutes.
Photos.
Yeah. It goes for like 10 minutes too. Just like bubbling and oozing stuff coming on. I didn't even know the lights were affecting it. I just thought he was getting pissed off because he was sleeping. It was really difficult for me to figure that out. And so we got grave robbers. Yeah. I tell you what, the grave robbers were not the stealthiest. They were shooting at people, screaming. I mean, I'm literally. I mean, people were. The microphones must have been just far away from these actors. I mean, this was like community theater yelling and overacting. Basically. It reminded me of a softcore porn. I'm sorry. Without the porn.
Without the porn.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The out-of-tune guitar guy, pretty sure he was ad-libbing his songs. And there is an overabundance of mumbling and ad-libbing and milling around. And, man, when they're in that tomb and they're, like, kind of setting up for the photo shoot, all you hear is... Oh, yeah, you want to go have a cigarette? Sure, yeah, let's just do this. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, people just kind of walking around. Hey, how's it going? Oh, not too bad, yeah. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine us, like, setting up for a convention and seeing that? Oh, hey, Joel, how you doing? Yeah, not too bad, pretty good. Cool, yeah. Have you chewed gum this week? Yeah, I have. Okay, cool. Way to go. So,
you got some?
You got some? No, I just was wondering if you had some I could have. I didn't really want any. I just wanted. It's just like, what the fuck? Okay, here's the thing. The main point of this movie is
the mummy.
No, it's not. The main point of it. Now, go back in your memory bank. The main point of this movie is to fucking get Gary. Get Gary. Gary can help. That's all I know is that Gary can help. We need to get Gary. He can help. I was sitting there going, like, there was like an army of mummies coming out of the ground, and one of these twits basically goes, let's get Gary. He can help. What the fuck's Gary gonna do? And who the hell's Gary anyway? It's like, Jesus Christ.
Was Gary the guy in the leisure suit?
I have no idea. Which one? Oh, man. I'm still into Fred, though, because that guy looked like Fred from Scooby-Doo, the main grave robber guy with the ascot and the beefy, bright blonde hair. I will say one thing. This movie had no beginning, middle, or end. Now, that's a feat. That's a feat unto itself. So I will give it credit for that. Did you think this was better than the Star Wars movie, Ben Harley?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not going to. Yeah, I can't go
calibrated there. Okay.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't beat up on it that bad. But, yeah, this, I don't know, Timo. The Mummy is very underwhelming, but I mean, I kind of liked the fact that there was other mummies coming out, but I'm like, damn them lights, man. They started, I mean, I don't know if it made it hotter outside or they were just friends with the mummy, I think, weren't they?
I guess.
But they looked more like zombies. They looked more like,
right. Yeah.
They didn't have, they weren't wrapped up, were they? They look like, regular zombies with like street clothes and stuff. It
kind of is like a mummy calls forth other mummies. What's the difference between a zombie and a mummy except for the clothes?
Right.
Except for the clothes.
And then they come in. Yeah, they come into town though and stir up a fuss.
Well, and that's the thing. This movie's kind of known for like the last 15, 20 minutes. Obviously, actually there was a lot more that went on during the film. I had forgotten about. The only thing I remembered was the carnage at the end. That's just it. I only remembered that, and it just kind of like happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was funny too because that's what Bob said too. He was like, "Oh yeah, that ending, man," and it had me going. And he was really messed up watching this movie, so I'm gonna forgive anything he says about it. I can't. Not even in the slightest can I grape ape up this movie. It's goofy. I had a little fun watching it because of the ineptitude of it all, and I was fascinated by how wrong I was. And that to me, the skill of the film is making it look what it's not. It makes it look. I could swear to you, this was just another Italian junk movie. When I saw it, and it's not. I mean,
no. This might have been one of my favorite, though. When they go from a guy or person screaming as they're about to get meat cleavered, and then they get meat cleavered, and then it's a replica of what they're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to what they look like with the meat cleaver. And
the quick edit for the hit. Yeah.
Yeah. This had one of my, probably at least my top 4 or 5 rubber heads of all time. Oh my God. There's the scene. It was one of the grave robbers that gets it.
Yeah.
I did have to stop and rewind it and freeze frame it because it brought a tear to my eye. I was laughing so hard.
I think what stands out in this movie is the goofy mummies that are actually zombies, and then just a tad bit of uniformly overacting in this film. A lot of screaming and a lot of if you just didn't scream, nobody would know where you were. It's really easy not to scream. Just don't do it.
Right.
But in the world we live in today, Ben Harley, that's not such a obvious thing anymore, I guess. So I don't know. I'm just going to I'm going to on this movie, but it's not like I didn't get some enjoyment out of it. It's just this is one of those ones that I can't really recommend for any reason. No. But it is a curiosity for what it is. And it is funny to see. This thing is ripe for riff tracks.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's ripe for it.
It's funny. There's a lot of mustachios too.
Oh yeah,
in this film. There's a few mustachios.
Oh yeah, a lot of mascots and
all kinds of stuff. A few things. Yeah. But it's I got a on it too. Yeah. I can't. It's bad.
Not even Gary could help our review of this.
No, the meat cleaver to the head, though, it went from real person to cartoon back to real person. It's kind of funny. It looked like something out of a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Right. All right. Well, let's get to that's too. I mean, gentle for this, just because I think it was a little fun to watch, but it was still but it's still really bad.
Yeah.
Let's get to our next official film, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's see here from 1956. We have The Beast of Hollow Mountain.
Yes.
Right, starring Guy Madison. That's a hell of a name. I love that name. I love Guy. That's great. There is a little poster art blurb, which I think you're going to find ironic to the film.
Okay. Yeah.
One day after 1,000,000 years, it came out of hiding to kill.
That's right.
And of course, we didn't see that filmed. Okay, let's get to a little synopsis here for The Beast of Hollow Mountain. Here we go.
Yeah.
Based on an idea by the legendary special effects wizard Willis O'Brien, King Kong, Son of Kong, Lost World, The Beast of Hollow Mountain is a classic creature feature. An American rancher living in Mexico is staying near Hollow Mountain, an impenetrable swamp where, stories have it, dwells a living prehistoric Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yes. Okay, it was an idea by Willis O'Brien, and we all know he was Ray Harryhausen's mentor, basically. He was actually supposed to do the effects for this movie. Willis O'Brien was. Yeah. Which, I'm not sure when he died. That's all I'm saying. I didn't realize he was still around even at this time.
Right. Well, it was funny. One of the Amazon documentaries that I will speak of later mentioned this film because of Willis O'Brien.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, the visual effects were done by Louis DeWitt and Jack Rabin. They worked together a lot. They worked on Night of the Hunter, believe it or not, which is impressive. But they also worked on Kronos and Phantom Planet, which we see on Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah,
pretty good. This movie itself was riffed on Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, you know what? I saw that. I saw that it was. I didn't get to see it that way.
Right. Yeah. So this movie is basically, I called it a poor man's Valley Guanji.
Okay.
Yeah. A little bit. It's sort of a cheap Western soap opera version of Valley Guanji. Lots of romance, land grabbing, and cattle rustling.
Up
until the end.
It's a brawling.
A little bit too much romance, because I bet you half the budget went to violin players for some of these romance nuisance scenes or whatever. Now, we've both seen this before, so what'd you think going back into Beast of Hollow Mountain?
It's not bad, Tim. It's going to sound terrible, but this is it's a decent movie that I think actually the dinosaur ruins.
Yep.
And I feel bad saying that because it's like, only for the fact that if they had the dinosaur in there more often, I guess at the beginning or here and there, it might have fit better, but it seemed like, because they do explain that there's something out there. They find some bigger footprints, but they don't really know. The cattle are coming up missing, and things. There is somewhat of a legend, but they don't really go much into it. A little bit, but it almost feels like you get into the movie and you're talking about the land grabbing and the fighting and the romance and the guys are fighting because of her, and there's shipments of cattle coming in, and the guy wants to stampede him, and he's not, all this thing. You get into that stuff, and all of a sudden you're like, oh there's a monster in this, and there's the monster, and then you're like, I don't think we needed the monster. Really, at this point, I'm like, and I don't know, I was like, I don't think I've ever said that in my life.
Right. Well, when you have Gumby production values. It was awful. It was an awful. We watched that Planet of the Dinosaurs riff tracks, and it was like it cost like $600 to make it, and the stop motion in that was far superior. This was awful stop motion animation, and what the fuck was up with that thing's tongue?
I don't know, but if that girl would have played the cards right, she could have got a date. You know what I mean? Hey. Yeah. I think that's what he was trying to show her. I don't know.
I swear to you, though, if that was Ray Harryhausen or if that was Willis O'Brien, they're like, we're not going to make the tongue do that. Like, why? Well, we study anatomy for these things, damn it. We take pride in this. Well, what do you mean? Well, what I mean is that if the monster roared with the tongue like that, it'd go... That's what it looked like. Right. And then the damn silly ass Barney feet close-ups. Like remember when it was like walking, they would have like rubber feet instead of stop motion. They would just have a close-up of it clearly looked like Barney feet. It was the worst feet I've ever seen. I mean, those were bad. I mean, and I am not exaggerating saying Barney, right?
No, not at all.
I mean,
not at all.
Didn't begin to match the
creature.
No, not at all. Little Ponchito was a hell of a trouble. Yeah, he was a troublemaker.
Man. Yeah, he's always crying. It's funny because he come in, he's like, he start going, and they get higher and higher and higher, you know.
Yeah.
Mr. Jimmy. Oh, yeah, he was in. Man, that poor kid was in it, man.
Right.
But, you know, it was funny, him and his dad, they were kind of funny. They did kind of. You know, I liked those two characters. And it's funny because I liked the characters in this film and stuff. You know, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. It tricked me. I knew what I was getting into, like at the beginning, and then all of a sudden I forgot about the monster. And then it tricked me at the end because then he came out and I was like, oh, wait, there's a monster.
Right. It's just like thrown in there. You don't even really need it. Yeah, you don't really need it. The highlight of the film, though, is that the widescreen photography is really good.
It looked great.
Yeah.
I watched the Blu-ray that you sent me, and it looks fantastic.
Right,
like,
it does.
Fantastic.
It's not enough to recommend it necessarily. Oh, my God. Plus, it's got one of the silliest, noodliest man versus dinosaur fights or whatever ever. Yeah. I'm like, what? Come on, man. And you knew the whole movie. And maybe you didn't, but I think you did. The whole movie, once they had the quicksand scene, you know that was coming back into play.
Oh yeah,
that was coming back into play
because it happened twice. They were making. And my thing is, that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, so this dinosaur's from the swamp, right?
Yeah.
Right. He's been there how many millions of years? But you tricked him this time into falling into quicksand.
Right.
He didn't know.
Yeah.
And the way he tricks him is very, very silly.
Yes.
It's
bad. It's all bad. The whole thing. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, I just can't recommend this movie. I mean, it's kind of a bland Western. It's like, okay, like a rope opera, like you just said. It's kind of like a rope opera in a way.
Yeah.
That just has like a monster thrown in. And before you get to the very end, it's just a bunch of rubbery Barney feet. Going around, and it's disjointed a little bit. So I can't. Again, this is almost the same as Dawn of the Mummy. I can't recommend it. It was kind of fun and silly to watch, but do it if you want to watch a dumb, silly movie, just like Dawn of the Mummy. If you want to watch these, and normally we might grape ape up those films. I can't these because they both suffer from something that I have a hard time letting go of, and there's a little bit of boredom in a couple of them. Little bit of boredom, and if you're not a Western person or an Egyptian, enthusiast with Egyptian photographers or whatever the fuck it is in Dawn of the Mummy, kind of hard to sit through it if you're not in the right mood. So I'm going to give a very gentle and respectful to Beast of Hollow Mountain, but nonetheless, and I really wish Harryhausen or Willis O'Brien would have done the effects. They're fucking horrible. They're horrible,
they're bad.
And it's
they're bad.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to give it I can't poop on it, but I mean, I give the actual Western part of it kind of a grape ape up. But the monster, I give up.
Yeah.
So it evens out a little bit.
Right.
So.
Well, not a great week here. That wasn't really terrible. We're just trying to tell people. I'm not telling you to watch this. You watch on your own and enjoy it. But you could.
Right.
You could enjoy these films. But we can't recommend them for that. But that's too bad. First 2018. Not doing good. So I'll tell you what, next week, let's shoot for 2 grape apes up on everything. All right? We'll do that.
Let's do that.
All right. Well, folks, welcome to 2018. Glad you all made it safe through.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year again. And it's going to be another year in the Tim Owen Harley show of zaniness and looniness. So
that's right.
Time marches on. So until next week, Ben Harley, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
All right, people, keep it creepy.
You've been listening to the Tim Owen Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.